My name is Ryan and I'm in recovery. I thought I'd answer this question from Susie. Oh, excuse the hands, by the way, I've just had some tattoos. What was it that took you from recreational / weekend user to becoming an addict and using during the week? This happened really gradually. My first experience, I can't remember my exact first experience of cocaine, but it's kind of when I was a teenager. I think it's the first time I tried it, and I'm 38 now, so that's a long time. I wasn't kind of using that the whole time. I'd have periods where I'd use periods where I wouldn't. But I did kind of know right from the start that it felt different to anything else, like alcohol and things like that. I could never kind of get enough. I'd always be like the last one up at a party, that kind of vibe. It's also been a big part of my life professionally. I worked in the city before in the music industry, which is also an industry that's rife for cocaine. And then started putting on my own gigs and eventually started working full-time, running diaries for music venues, programming events and promoting shows, stuff like that. And would always kind of be in that environment where drugs were pretty common and normal. I think the big shift for me was during COVID, because before that I would be working Monday to Friday, and then I would be in the venues that I worked on the weekends, and I'd be getting on it pretty much every weekend, but I'd always be like, I'd justify it because I had to stay up late or because I was working a show and didn't finish till 4 a.m. and I was looking after the DJ, so that was my justification. During COVID, obviously, the venues I worked on all closed, and that was when I would start using at home, often alone. And that was when I kind of was, I think that's when it kind of changed for me. I also had some mental health stuff going on during that period as well, through work-related stress. I had to let go a lot of people that worked for me. Worked in my team. I was a manager of 25 people who wanted to be made redundant, and I had to do all them redundancies over Zoom calls. That really affected me. I then got made redundant myself, which, I was in that kind of headspace where my job was my identity really, and when I lost that job I was really went for a bad place. And that's kind of when my using took on a different form. I would sit in by myself in the dark, getting on it and stuff like that. And it actually got to the point where I did that so often that I stopped using recreationally. I stopped because basically if I was out and someone offered me a line, I'd often do it, and then it would kind of put my head into a bit of a dark place, and I'd need to leave the social situation. I didn't want to be there. So I guess that's kind of the point where it changed, but it wasn't like it just happened overnight. It was kind of really gradual, and I guess maybe the situation with COVID and all them things kind of accelerated it. And the last few years, I don't even really use recreationally. Maybe just with a couple of friends in a environment I'm comfortable in, but I wouldn't generally be using cocaine out in pubs and stuff like that. That form of using stopped for me. And I'd often go out for drinks with friends, have a few drinks in the pub or whatever, and then I would go home, and then that was when I would use. I would wait till I got home to use because, like I say, it almost became this habitual dark ritual really that I just wanted to do alone. I didn't really want to have to do it with anyone else. And also with coke, that's maybe different to some other people, it tends to make me a bit quieter. It makes me not as chatty. A lot of people do it to kind of chat and unwind, but it doesn't really have that effect on me. It makes me talk less. I find myself kind of sitting in silence often when I'm doing coke around other people. And it got to a point where I just almost did it as this way to kind of lock myself away from the world. It was a bit of a thing I used to kind of isolate, and I was able to just sit by myself for hours and do it and not contact anyone from the outside world.